Welcome to Rise Up Voices from the Front Lines, your window into relationships, identity, safety, emotional awareness, regulation and intelligence, unleashed potential, passion and purpose.
Hello, everybody. Imagine a classroom during a lockdown drill. The lights are off, the doors are locked, the curtains are drawn. 20 children are crouched behind desks, their little hearts pounding so loudly that it almost feels like you can hear them. A teacher whispers directions, but her hands are trembling. One child is quietly crying, another is frozen still. She's staring into space. And even though everyone's doing everything right, something about it feels wrong. We're calling this safety, but what we're really rehearsing is fear. What if we stopped rehearsing panic and started rehearsing readiness? What if we helped children face stress in ways that build confidence, not trauma? What if we treated calm as the most essential survival skill of them all? So, hey everybody, welcome to today's Rise Up KIDSAFE Resilience Series episode on the Rise Up Voices from the Frontlines podcast. I'm your host, Krista Fee, bestselling author, award-winning keynote, and accredited trainer in mental wellness, safety, leadership, and relationships. Today, we're starting with the phrase that defines everything that we do here. Recovery begins with readiness. This idea changes how we think about school safety, trauma prevention, and the emotional development of our children. Because readiness is not just strategy. It's a state of mind, body, and relationship. So let's talk about why fear-based safety programs and protocols fail. When we talk about safety in schools, we often focus on simple things like tactics, lockdowns, evacuation routes, police responses. And don't get me wrong, these pieces are critical. But the human nervous system doesn't always cooperate with even the best laid out plans. When fear floods the body, it hijacks the brain's logic center, the prefrontal cortex, and it hands over control to the amygdala, which is the part of your brain that is screaming survival. This isn't bad. It's just biology. But what it means is that if we teach safety through fear, we're programming the brain to associate safety with panic. And according to the National Association of School Psychologists in 2023, children exposed to repeated high-stress lockdown drills without trauma-informed framing show higher rates of anxiety, sleep disturbance, and avoidant behaviors. In other words, we're training them to survive danger by feeling unsafe all the time. As Dr. Bruce Perry writes in The Boy Who Was Raised as a Dog, the human brain is built for pattern and repetition. What we do in safety, we also do in stress. If we want calm, we have to practice calm. And that's why readiness isn't about eliminating fear. It's about rehearsing regulation. It's about teaching children that fear is information, that fear is not an identity. So let's go into the science of readiness. Readiness is more than a mental state. It's a physiological condition. When we practice regulation and response together, the brain learns that stress can be met with clarity instead of chaos. This is called stress inoculation. It's a concept popularized by Dr. Donald Meichenbaum and later applied in fields from military training all the way to emergency medicine. It works like this. Small supported doses of stress plus emotional safety equals an expanded capacity. We see it in the research on resilience too. The American Psychological Association describes resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, or significant stress. We can't avoid hard things. The key is having the resources to move through them. And when we teach readiness as a skill set, awareness, breathing, decision-making, teamwork, We're giving children tools for life, not just for survival. This isn't abstract. Polyvagal theory, developed by Dr. Stephen Porges, shows us that a regulated nervous system creates social engagement and clear thinking. When kids feel safe in their bodies, they can connect, communicate, and cooperate. All of these are essential to real-world safety. That means the first responder in every classroom is not the teacher with the emergency radio. It's the collective nervous system of the entire group. So let's discuss the human element of safety, because safety is not just procedural, it's relational. The most effective security plans fail when people are dysregulated, but ordinary classrooms can become resilient, protective systems when relationships are strong and emotional safety is prioritized. Children do not learn best from commands. They learn through the process of co-regulation. And that's an invisible process where one calm nervous system helps another settle down. It's a biological partnership of trust. As trauma researcher Bessel van der Kolk explains in The Body Keeps the Score, safety is not the absence of threat. It's the presence of connection. When teachers model calm, their tone of voice, body language, and facial expressions send powerful signals of stability to the children that are in their care. This phenomenon, known as neuroception, allows the brain to detect whether an environment is safe or dangerous, long before logic and thinking kick in. So when a teacher calmly guides students through a lockdown drill while maintaining a steady tone, the children's bodies learn that we can stay grounded even in uncertainty. That moment plants a tiny seed of resilience. So let's talk about student buy-in and move away from compliance into collaboration. Children rise to the level of what we expect, but more importantly, to the level of what we believe they can handle. When we let them help plan and participate in safety exercises, when we trust them with truth, context, and problem solving, they develop ownership and pride instead of panic. Research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child shows that agency, which is their sense of influence over their environment, is a key protective factor against trauma. Kids who feel they can take action recover faster from stress than those who feel helpless. So invite their creativity. Let older students help design scenarios or communication scripts. Have young students role play as safety helpers. Teach them to guide each other through grounding techniques. Include art, storytelling, and problem-solving games that emphasize teamwork over terror. In one middle school that I've worked with, students created their own safety squad. They designed mindfulness posters, led breathing breaks, and even organized practice scenarios, not drills per se, that tested teamwork and calm thinking. After just one semester, behavioral referrals dropped by almost 20%, and self-reported anxiety during drills fell by nearly half. That's what happens when you replace fear with consistent, steady readiness. The educator's nervous system. A dysregulated teacher cannot regulate a classroom. I'm not being judgmental. We're just talking neuroscience. According to research in Frontiers in Psychology, teachers under chronic stress show elevated cortisol levels, and that directly correlates with increased student stress responses. Stress is contagious, but so is calm. This is why staff regulation training is not optional. It needs to be essential. Educators need space and tools to ground themselves before leading students through emotionally charged moments. And many simple strategies exist. You might include breathing techniques. One of the most common is box breathing. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, Exhale for a count of 4 and hold again. Grounding through your senses, naming what you can see, hear, feel, smell. Take micro breaks between classes for nervous system resets. A simple single breath can help. When staff practice regulation together, collective energy of the school changes. The kids feel it, the parents feel it, other teachers feel it, and the responders feel it. And that's what a readiness culture looks like. Regulated adults creating regulated environments for regulated kids. So let's practice courage, not panic. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to act through it. And courage, like any other skill, grows through practice. Exposure, when done gently and with care, it strengthens resilience. This concept, known as titration in trauma therapy, means introducing small doses of stress in a controlled environment so the nervous system learns it can survive and recover. Instead of staging surprise high-intensity drills, we design gradual exposure experiences. You start with classroom discussions about what to do if. Practice grounding and decision-making in low-stress environments. Build to more realistic rehearsals even when emotional safety is established. Dr. Peter Levine, founder of Somatic Experience, reminds us that trauma is not what happens to us, but what we hold inside in the absence of an empathetic witness. When we help children to process their fear with support, we prevent trauma. We don't cause it. So when we practice readiness, we're not desensitizing kids to danger. We're teaching them that they can handle it. It's a completely different idea. The collective nervous system, or schools, as ecosystems. Think of your school like a living organism. Each person, student, teacher, parent, responder, is a cell within that system. When one part regulates, the whole system benefits. Community-wide readiness requires communication, shared language, and consistency in cues. Everyone should know what calm command phrases mean, what safety zones are, and how to use emotional debriefing after drills. Schools that implement trauma-informed safety cultures experience not only lower incidents of behavior escalation, but also higher academic performance, according to the Journal of Educational Psychology. Because when the body feels safe, the brain can actually learn. That's the hidden link between school safety and student achievement. Readiness is literally the foundation for everything else. So again, I'm going to say recovery begins with readiness. Here's where we land today. Fear may be automatic and out of our control per se, but readiness is learned. And every single time that we practice presence, breath, teamwork, and calm under stress, we're literally rewiring our nervous systems for survival and recovery. Safety doesn't begin when crisis hits. It starts right now in the way that we talk, breathe, connect, and prepare together. And if you remember nothing else from today's episode, please remember this. You can't teach safety from fear. You teach safety from a place of readiness. So please follow, like, or share wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Book a call for more information on how you can get your own customized keynote, workshop, or training, or join our on-demand program now. Use the links below or in the show description. Rise Up Phoenix Trauma and Crisis Institute is your one-stop education, training, publication, coaching, and consulting hub for mental wellness, safety, preparedness, leadership, and life mastery. When seconds count, recovery begins with readiness.
Become a Rise Up Hero sponsor to provide mental wellness and crisis response resources for those who serve country and community. Join us in the Rise Up movement today.